Hey everybody, I'm back, and this time I'm looking at Shadowdancer again. I did a video on the Shadowdancer previously, and I feel like I can do better. I've learned a little more about the game in the last few weeks of experimenting with different builds, and I got a few tips from folks in my comments. Thank you very much. Actually, on a side note, let me say this. Thank you for watching, everybody who's been watching and commenting and liking and subscribing. It means a lot. I don't have enough followers to join the whole monetization partner program thing, and so I don't get anything out of this except for satisfaction and enjoyment. So I'm glad you guys are watching. What I want to do, someone pointed out that when I rolled up a character last time, I had made a the kind of monk that gains wounds by inflicting rather than being hurt. With a street fighter, who gets more powerful, the weaker they are. Or when they're bloodied, I should say. Or they're outnumbered. So I thought maybe a better combination would be Hellwalker, because Hellwalkers take more damage the more wounds they get, but they get stronger the more wounds they get. Up to 10, because I think 10 is the maximum number of wounds a monk can have. So I can get up to 22 might, so I didn't put a lot of points into might. Instead, I focused on Constitution because 50% of a bigger number is better. I mean, I'm thinking that's the way it would work. Is that the more hit points I have, if I hit 50% of 175, that's a pretty good deal. Because I can still have a lot of hit points left to stand around and not, be close to death. I also picked a Death Godlike because Death Godlikes get increased power level when they're near death. So I thought the combination here would be really good, and then she ended up kind of looking super fly. So I'm going with a rapier. Yep, and then I also have a saber in case slashing is better. So we'll kind of go with that. I've picked up, to show off her abilities a little bit here, I've picked up, oh, this is kind of neat, Death's Usher, 20% damage against less than or equal to 25 or near-death opponents. So she'll do more damage to guys who are almost dead themselves. I gave her Backstab, so she'll do a lot more damage when coming out of stealth or invisibility. Her Dirty Fighting will convert some of her hits into crits passively. Her Rapier gives her extra accuracy. And gave her Scale Armor. I picked up some Gauntlets of Reliability from the merchant in the beginning of the beta. Hellwalker we talked about. I picked One-Handed Style, so some of her hits will be converted to crits. And Sneak Attack, of course, being a rogue. Storm Turner Cloak, only because it looked cool, not because I'm worried about water attacks, I guess. Currently, because she's a street fighter and is not bloodied, she has an increased recovery time. And Transcendent Suffering is the bonus monk ability for unarmed attacks. So, there you go. Let's take a look at this in action. Let's go stealth. I keep on, with this build, I keep forgetting that she has Backstab, and I want to kind of come out of stealth. Let's try and come up behind him so I have more time. Oop. Alright, he's going to probably see me in a second, so let's try. I got Debilitating Strike, which is an upgrade from Crippling Strike, I believe. So it's successful at hobbles, but because I upgraded it, it also distracts, which is going to lower his dexterity and his perception, and he's going to be considered flanked. So we're going to try that out of stealth. And I got this to slow mode, not very slow, but slow enough we can kind of keep an eye on what's going on. So let's see what happens. Alright, we hit him. Grazed him for 35. It's pretty good for a graze. We had 74 accuracy with that attack. That's very good. And I also made a mistake last time of having a shield in my other hand. I thought the extra deflection would be good, but honestly, we want guys to hit us anyway, and we want the extra accuracy bonus from not having a shield, because we want to make sure with our rogue abilities that almost all of them interrupt in some way. We want to make sure we're hitting with these abilities so they are interrupting. So he's going to frenzy. Right now he's frenzying. I gained 3 wounds right off the bat because that's just what Helldancers do. They start the fight with 3 wounds. So I can already use Torment's Reach and Force of Anguish right now. But by having 3 wounds on me, I actually have plus 3 might, and I take plus 15% damage, because I take plus 5% from all wounds. So let's do this. Now that I've got him hurt, I still have 4 guile left, 4 points. So I can do Blinding Strike once and Smoke Veil. Let's get this ready to go. And as soon as we see him pop his... Oh, he's going to do this. His Smashing Blow, which I see he's going to do right now. Let's try and interrupt it. Alright, we did interrupt it. And we hit him pretty good. Let's see here. 25 damage, Blinding Strike, 17 seconds on the blind. So that's pretty good. He's blind and he's flanked. So we're going to be doing some pretty good damage here. It'd be better if we were heating up with our Street Fighter, but he's going to hit us plenty of times before this is all done, I'm sure. Alright, there he is for 20. Out of curiosity, what's his penetration? 11. So, yeah, I don't think anything matters. We could have had leather armor on, really. Well, that's not quite true. I think there is a reduction in damage. No. No, we would have to have at least 11 armor to take reduced damage. We would need to have like 13 or 14 armor to take the minimum damage that can be dealt from a character. So, yeah, we may as well have leather armor on here. Let's do this to make Swift Strikes. So we're quick. What does it give us? It gives us 20% action speed and quick, which is an extra +5 dexterity. So our dexterity and our strength is already very good because of our self buffs. Alright. Attack. I get Stunning Blow him, but I want him to hit me, so I'm not gonna mess with him. I'll let him just do his thing. He's hitting me pretty good. I'm not quite at a oh, I am heating up. Alright, so now that I'm heating up, let's make sure this is refreshed. Now I'm doing 36% actual might. So let's go invisible so we can come out of and backstab him. Oh, and he's actually near death. So he completely missed us, and we're invisible right now. And I'm thinking we come out of this with... That is a lot of damage. 54 to 70. Oh man, our damage range is really high right now. Because of backstab, because we're invisible. Death's Usher, because we're Death Touch, or God... whatever we are. Godlike. Death Godlike. We're a Street Fighter, so we're doing a lot of base damage here. So I'm thinking it'd be fun just to let's just do Torment's Reach, which is a high level monk ability that staggers and does an area of effect. Look cool. Boom, and we just dropped him. 63 damage. Would have been you know, the whole group. So yeah, that's a much smarter build than the last one I had, I gotta admit. So I think that is going to be all I really wanted to show off with that character, at least. Someone also asked for a look at the skills. So let me just level somebody up so we can look at all the skills. So here's all the skills. This is what the full version of the game is going to have for skills, but I don't think some of this stuff is implemented really in the beta. For example, alchemy is supposed to give you a make like potions or poisons, drugs, and antidotes more effective. Actually, that might work because I think drugs actually do have higher stats when you have a high alchemy. I'm not sure about that. That's what it's supposed to do. So that Arcana makes your scrolls more potent. Actually, the first thing Arcana does is gives you the ability to use scrolls, depending on the power level of the scroll. So like a level 2 or level 3 scroll would require so many points in Arcana. But the higher your Arcana, the higher the effectiveness of those scrolls as well. So that's actually worth putting points into for at least one character so that, you know, all these cool scrolls you find, someone can use them very effectively. Athletics, of course, actually, let me back up. All of these skills, especially the passive skills, are used in addition to maybe combat for the active skills. They're also used for dialogue options. Athletics, you'll see come up fairly often in like world exploration. But what it can do as an active skill is once per fight, you can use it, and then depending on how much investment you have in it, you can heal a little bit. So I put 4 points. He's got 4 points. We'll say 5. Actually, we'll just say 4, and I'll come back to the screen. So with his 4 points, he can recover 58 health, which for a level 6 character who has 130 hit points, that's pretty good. So that's athletics, worth getting for anybody really couldn't use at least some athletics just to heal a little bit. You know, never know. Explosives makes like bombs and grenades and things like that more effective. Although I did put points in this and I didn't see any difference, so I'm thinking it's just not quite implemented in the beta. Mechanics are how you disable traps or open locks, lock doors, lock chests. Sleight of Hand I don't think is used in the beta, and it looks to me like it must be used for picking pockets, but I don't know if there's a skill for it or not, so I'm not sure how that works. Like if I have a point in it, let's say for example, let me just pick a couple things here quick. So if I have a point in that, and I back out, so I have 1 point in that skill, I don't see how you use that skill. I don't understand why that's an active skill. Maybe you right click on an NPC. So maybe someone in the comments can correct me or explain that, but I never quite figured that one out. Stealth, of course, we're using that all the time. That's stealth. That's how you stay hidden from your enemies, and the higher your stealth, the closer you can get to somebody. And you did notice probably early in this video when I was stealthing up to that barbarian monk enemy, he had like a noise radius, because enemies can hear noise, and effects like spells are going to have like a notation for how quiet or how loud they are. And in addition to that, they have a cone of vision. So if you're in their cone of vision, you get spotted quicker. But if you're behind the cone of vision, you can get closer to them. Presumably, maybe we use sleight of hands. I guess I didn't really play with it too much. Passive skills are your bluff, like lying to people. Again, these are almost all like skill checks for dialogue. Diplomacy, to sway them to your side or convince them of something. History is knowledge of the history of the world or the area or region. Insight is the ability to detect if someone is lying or being evasive, or if they're scared, or just sort of like a catch-all perception when you're speaking to people. Intimidate is intimidating. Metaphysics is the sort of the backstory for magic, animancy, Adra, the wheel, like all those concepts from like the first game and the world itself. Religion is just like history, but for religion, like your knowledge of religion. It'll pop up and you can impress people, or maybe even like sway someone to your side because you know more about their religion than they assumed you did. Streetwise is just your knowledge for how to survive in the streets. Maybe you can use this check to like find out if someone will sell you or buy stolen goods. Survival is your ability to again, it's only for scripted interactions, but they involve like survival challenges, being out in the wild, bypassing a river maybe, or something like that. So that's all the skills in the game. There's actually kind of a lot in the first game. Things like bluff and diplomacy you had to kind of earn by picking those dialogue options, and then that built the skill up as the game progressed. But here they've changed it so you can just invest in what you want. So if you want to be diplomatic, you don't have to wait for opportunities to be diplomatic and then hope you picked enough of those opportunities when you really need it. Now you can just put points into it and be as good as you want to be. So there you go. That's the skills. And I think that's all I wanted to do for this video. So thanks for watching. And again, if you have any questions or anything, leave a comment and I will try and answer it as best I can. Thanks again.